I don't know which was which.
Dude, go by game time, if you can.
All right, here, let me just.
My suggestion.
All right, you want shortest? I'm assuming.
What? Are you kidding me?
Well, I
I
didn't know.
want,
It's up to
I
you.
want the middle length or the longest.
Here, we'll go with Belshare's 18 minutes. Let's do that one.
That sounds good.
So
See, if it gets to like 40 minutes, then it might be a Stormhost game. I'm not sure if I want that, but
exactly.
if it's like 18 to 20 something minutes, then it's probably a good game.
All right, let's get you here in the game. Have Penguin just real ID in.
Yeah, don't pick the second game.
Which one was the second game? I don't.
I think Derelict.
Okay, no, we're going with Belshare.
Derelict was just like 7-gate, like perfectly defended with burrow roaches until Life just decided to make like 20 drones or something and then died.
All right, well, continuing through with these replays, guys. Oh, this wasn't Group A, was this? Group B, wasn't it? I think.
This is Group B.
Yeah, I'll change that. So yeah, we're just using this to fill the downtime. If you're just tuning in, as you can see in the top left, we've got the time displayed of when the next matches are going to begin. So we'll have SOS versus Show coming up after that. But until then, we got SASQUATCH from Root Gaming continuing to join myself and Penguin here for a bit of replay analysis of the games we didn't get to see. So we just saw this really, what I'm only going to best describe as cool one out of TLO and Lucifron. Hopefully we'll get a bit more insight in this one. Penguin, of course, can also provide a little more, I guess, point of viewness, because, of course, Stardust is his teammate in this regard. I don't know, is that a weird point of view? Perspective! There we go, that's... if I could English this morning. Point of viewness, wow. You know,
Point of viewness, yes. My point of viewness is very viewable.
Well, actually,
such
before we even get into this, SASQUATCH, I asked Kane about this earlier, just your quick opinion too. What is your feeling about like gateway aggression right now, and how do you go about handling it as far as like gateway expands go?
Basically you just need to recognize if you need roaches or just like zerglings. If you go something like hatch gas pool, then a lot of the times on most maps you're able to be active and deny pylons, and from there you can really stop gateway aggression very easily. But if they actually get like pylons set up and start warping in units, usually you need roaches, and you need more than one queen generally to stop the mothership core, because if any of the gateway units do damage to it, then you need that extra queen. So it's really just a balancing act of roaches and lings, and then knowing when to drone.
Yeah, roach, man, I love watching roaches, but like sometimes those force fields are just like, come on, like I had enough roaches. What are you doing? Force fields? That's not cool.
Yeah, I have that feeling a lot.
Well, an interesting wall here out of Stardust. A little bit awkward as it was, quite frankly, a bit out of place. So you can put the full wall off on the left. Okay, there we go.
No, yeah, it ends up being okay with the Cybercore there. That's how he likes to wall off on Belshare.
I'm Stardust,
it's
I like to be weird.
Wall off. Like, A-Bomb, Wilco, and Stardust all did that exact same wall off on this map.
Alright, cool. Pylon blocking kind of, I don't know, almost feels old school at this point. You never really see someone let the pylons complete anymore. It's always just like, build, cancel, even if it's at the third. You don't really see that finish too much, so... Kind of curious choice out of Stardust, but...
A lot of people will do it with Stargate openers because it denies the creep there for quite a while. So it's sometimes harder to transfer queens there and stuff like that, depending on the map.
That's a good point.
I just remembered what happened this game. It's interesting and it's cute, but yeah.
Who describes things as cute? Like a
cute game. I like cute games.
No, you'll see. Like it's a cute tactic because it's like, oh, that was really cute. It didn't work, but it was really cute.
Alright, keep an eye out for it. Melee upgrades.
Yeah, we see Life going for 2-base double upgrade lings. This is really good. I think this was specifically against Stardust, to be honest. Like, it's a build that works, but I think the fact that he only played it off 2-base is specifically tailored to playing Stardust, because Stardust cheeses a lot and goes for all-in stuff a lot. He also doesn't scout very much. Like, he'll often just say, okay, this is my build. Look at his scouting vision. He scouted nothing this game. So this, like, it's very, very difficult to execute Protoss all-ins against 1-1 Zerglings with Queen support, but Stardust has no way of knowing that there's 1-1 Zerglings because he just didn't scout.
Well, I think the big reveal of that Void Ray was a bit unfortunate too, because forget the Hydras for a sec. I mean, Life could just flood like crazy and try and run around them.
Alright, I'm gonna interrupt you to say the cute thing. He moves forward with the Void Rays in front of the Warp Prism so that they don't see the Warp Prism, except he sees the Warp Prism anyway with the Sling. So basically what Stardust is going to do is he's going to drop and warp in with all of his bajillion gateways. He has 8 of them, or 6 of them at the moment.
Oh god, there's like 4 queens here, though.
Yeah, he's got a ton of queens, he's got a ton of lings, and this basically does nothing. And he's going to follow this up, but like, he's trying to push onto the third, but these Zealots are not going to do anything either.
Well, actually, I'll get your opinion in a second on this too. I want your, because you're both Zerg players, but what do you guys think about these heavy queen openings? Like, especially like against Protoss.
Well, I don't like them, like, standardly. Like, I don't like, say, like, on ladder, I would never go, like, 6 queen every game. But if you're playing somebody who you know cheeses a lot, they're very, very good.
Your thoughts, Sasquatch?
The heavy upgrade ling style, the queens are really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The heavy ling with, like, fast upgrades.
That's true.
Lots of the time, a natural transition from that is into ultras, depending on what the Protoss does. Or sometimes you'll have to play, like, if they go Stargate, you'll need other units, obviously, sometimes. But having those queens for transfuse on, you know, the hive tech units is really strong. So it's pretty good. And the creep spread is obviously very nice.
Queen transfuse is absurd, by the way. That one roach lived like 3 times over longer than it should.
And, like, some people don't realize this, but queens don't count as armored. So the Void Rays don't do extra damage to the queens, so queens are really good against Void Rays. So actually, Stardust is almost dead already.
I remember Cats. I think it was Cats. I don't want to misquote him, but I think I remember listening to him stream one time. He was talking about how queens are actually better versus Void Rays than Hydras generically, just because of the way they can transfuse.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'd agree with that too.
So, like, basically, Life's just gonna go Ling Hydra now, and he's got way better upgrades because he's got double Eva Chambers, and Stardust's just like on 1 forge. So basically, Stardust just goes for, he gets a 3rd Nexus, kind of like, he lets it finish, but it's more of a fake than anything. He doesn't saturate it at all, and he just follows up with an Immortal all in, but it's really late, and he didn't do any damage at that first push, so he's kind of dead anyway. Oh, no, he goes with like 1 Colossus, that's what he does, and he almost takes it, but not quite.
Well, whether it's I'm actually curious about it. Here, I'm gonna pause this for a sec. So from what you've seen so far, Sasquatch, like, we got Penguin chirping up, whether it's intentional bias or not, you know, claiming that this was built tailored to Stardust. From what you've seen so far, would you say this is just like a really good Protoss build or a really good Stardust build?
I've never seen this build really before. Like, well, I mean, I've seen like Phoenix in the Warp Prism drops in the main, or like stuff to clear overviews like that with Stargate into Robo Warp Prism drops, like with gateway units or whatever. But this was definitely a Stardust build, I'd say. Like, it's very unique. So I don't know.
I actually
this
don't
would have caught me off guard for sure.
Like, it's really good if you can clear stuff out with the Void Rays, but like Life is really good at just having Link scouting, so he sees the Warp Prism, and if you see the Warp Prism, it's just kind of done, I think. What do you think?
Yeah. If you're making units and you already see and then you see the Warp Prism before it's, you know, almost there, then, like, I mean, where you saw it from, he had a lot of time to react, so it's definitely pretty tough to do stuff if he's like in position.
It doesn't bait any force field, sadly. You know, actually, just side note, unrelated to what's going on right now, because we'll probably see the engagement come up in a sec. Have you played around with the tunneling claws yet, Sasquatch?
It's pretty good versus like some, you know, century heavy armies, but other than that, I'm not too much of a fan. It's pretty. I haven't found that many situations where I really like it yet.
Yeah, I hadn't seen too much. Well, I was going 1 second. It's just the only reason I bring this up is because we see a lot of sentries and the Immortals coming out, kind of like, you know, it's your typical Protoss build versus Zerg, go sentries and Immortals. But I actually watched Moonglade a lot for the SCS this past weekend, and dude, that guy was like, I don't think he didn't go tunneling claws in any game for his Protoss. It was just like shark attack after shark attack after shark attack, and being able to burrow under the force fields at reasonable speed now is just insanely cool, if not good.
Yeah,
I like sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that, like, you can still do like those 200 max roach attacks, and they're like so much scarier now if you go tunneling claws. Like, you can do, they've become really scary again. The problem is lots of people will be making Void Rays, and Void Rays are also, you know, very strong right now versus roaches. So that's where my struggle's been.
That's what I was actually gonna say. I'm like, right now I'm really enjoying just going 62 drones, maxing out on roaches with like +1 and tunneling claws, and then just going Spire behind it. just because I like mutas. So Spire behind it is just my thing.
Freaking
But-
European Zergs and Mutalisks, man, I swear.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that good in like a month or so. But right now, so many people are having so much trouble dealing with the new tunneling clause. Like, I think if you add more zealots to the composition, it's not as good because then you can obviously be doing a lot of DPS while they're burrowing under. If you have detection, but
This is not looking good for Life. I mean, still got those Queens
No,
Life, but
like,
he just lost
the
a
thing
lot
is, like,
of Hydras.
he has Vipers coming out.
Oh, yeah, in the
And he has,
progression.
like, he's got a lot of queens. Like, I thought for a second Stardust might be able to take it, but with the Vipers, it's just really hard. Like, Life controls this really well, and he has a lot of queens. And, like, for a second, it starts looking really, really bad because he just gets a lot of damage done, but with those two abducts...
I really don't like when people over-abduct either. I think that's kind of a... I've seen so many times where it's like, if you just abduct one Colossus, it guaranteed dies, but if you abduct 3, the DPS gets so split, sometimes, like, 2 out of those 3 will walk away unscathed.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a lot closer than I expected. The way you told
Yeah,
it, Penguin,
like-
I thought it was. It's so. Look at this.
Yeah, it's pulling
like-
drones.
Yeah, but the problem is he's totally all in, like 100%, because he has no probes at his third. He's mined out of his main. He's got way worse upgrades. So like,
I like
with
the drones on
probe-
top of the Colossus, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's actually pretty
Heroes.
close, closer than I remember the game. But like,
Yeah, this is
Overall,
like... Those
this-
transfuses are keeping him in this in a
Yeah.
big way.
I mean, I don't think he would have. Like the transfuses are really good, but he has more Hydras on the way, and like
Oh, yeah,
Stardust
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
really
yeah.
have that much to be able to reinforce on because he's almost mined out of his main, and his natural's running very low as well. So like overall, like Stardust took, I think the engagements, the first engagement here by the watchtower was really, really good because he whittled down a lot of the Hydra count and whittled down a lot of the actual DPS of the army. And like if that hadn't have happened, I think Life would have absolutely crushed it. But with that, and then pushing through what Mattles likes to call the Valley of Death, it's really, really hard to engage against like triple Colossus armies as well. So like really good execution by Stardust, but Life is just so far ahead. I just feel like he just controlled properly, and Stardust couldn't really do that much.
But what are your final thoughts on the game, Sasquatch?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a very like particular build. I mean, Stardust most likely knew like well and ahead of time what he was gonna do this game, and it just didn't work out. Like the last second scout on the Void Rays and the War Prism was what
Well,
allowed him to get in position and hold it really well. So
Well, I asked Kane this, I'll ask you to cap it off. I mean, like, regardless of whether this was a tailored build or if this had been a generic build, which we've agreed at this point it isn't, would you say then that the scouting the Void Ray was like the single most important part of that game, or what do you think Life did best that like control the Hydras? Like, in just one moment, what do you think was the best thing he did in that game?
I thought I was really what I was most impressed with myself was towards the end there when he was like maintaining his position on that ramp really well with the queens and the hydras, because I personally thought that like that was a really like scary situation. His vipers were coming out, but they didn't have energy to do anything. Like he needed to siphon life from the buildings first. So being able to buy so much time there was and like maintain that perfect spot on the ramp was pretty perfect.
Yeah,
was
I mean,
impressed with that.
are they still talking about, because I haven't been keeping up with this, were they still talking about the idea of giving Vipers full energy, or did that finally get put to the side?
I don't think so. I wish.
That was a while ago. Like, I don't actually, like, that would be, I'm just imagining really sick, like, oh, storm drops come in, and then, like, 4 Vipers pop, they just, like, abduct, just beat back them, and they'll just all die immediately. It's like, oh, well, that went well.
Yeah.
But...
All right, well, thanks for coming to join us for those replays, Sasquatch. I'm sorry that they weren't the longest ones in the world, but we got 2 of them in, so thank you kindly for that. If you guys think, first off, I don't have his Twitter on screen, but he is at Root Sasquatch on Twitter, by the way. You should follow him, as he constantly tweets about various things related to StarCraft. He doesn't let his Twitter go dead, so he's a good source of information if it's not just related to Zerg. And, of course, just recently joined Root Gaming. I am expecting good things from you, sir, because I know you already play pretty darn well, but in a team house, I'm hoping that'll enhance it further.
Yeah, we have like perfect ping to the Korea server. It's pretty nice considering I was in the eastern end of Long Island before, so I was like, I had even bad ping to NA. It felt like, and here it's like amazing.
Amazing.
East
So,
Coast problems.
I'm pretty happy. Yeah, East Coast problems exactly. All right, thanks for having me on.
Hey man, thanks for
Say hi
stopping
to
by
Cats
again.
for me.
Yeah.
Again, it's at Root Sasquatch, guys. Keep an eye out for him. He'll probably have a pretty good showing here in the new year. So thanks again, Sasquatch. Have a great day. Maybe we'll get some. I'll poke you again later if we get some really sick replays or something. But I think we got a lot of TBTs coming up. So
Yeah, I see that group. See you.
later, man.
See ya.